Okay, so we are live on Facebook, right? So welcome to our 24th session, Swapnil, on in conversation with Amro creative people within and outside of Nepal, right? So you are actually our 24th. So welcome, Swapnil.
Hello, thank you so much, Suraj. Thank you so much for having me. अनि मैले चाहिँ I'm really excited. मैले फेसबुकमा एक दुईवटा लाइभहरू पहिला हेरेको थिएँ होइन, तर it's really good to be part of this today. Yeah, it's very exciting.
Mm-hmm. So I mean, we initially thought of doing this lockdown ko bela matrai garum bhaneर सोचिरहेको थिएँ हैन, and then for some reason governments keep on extending it, हैन.
Yes.
So we've been having more guests. So let's see the next lockdown ke huncha, हैन. So again, for people who know Swapnil might not know who he was before, and for people who knew Swapnil doesn't know what he is up to right now. So if you can just run down from how you started, where you started to where you are right now.
All right. So of course, म चाहिँ कस्तो गरे भन्दाखेरि I've lived a life of jack of all trades. Trades भन्नाले though I have focused myself inside the design business, तर पनि मैले चाहिँ यति धेरै खाली डिजाइन गरेको छु हैन. So मलाई चाहिँ couple of years अगाडिसम्म पनि म एक्चुअली के डिजाइनरहरू भनेर चाहिँ एक्सप्लेन गर्न अलिकति गाह्रो पर्थ्यो. किन भन्दाखेरि I first started with web. Web was just fascinating back in the early 2000s when I started. I was still in college. It was kind of very thrilling for me to see that you could actually create stuff that you could render on a browser, and it could click button and you could type on an input. It was very fascinating. But there was a time when त्यति बेला चाहिँ वेब त्यति मजाले फ्लरिश भइसकेको थिएन जुन which web today is. अनि त्यसपछि गर्दै जाँदाखेरि चाहिँ अब फोटोशप पहिला त्यही त हो नि न्युरोडबाट सिडी किनेर ल्यायो फेसबुक फ्ल्यास इन्स्टल गरेर अनि देन you kind of play around with it, and that's how I started. So फोटोशप गर्दा गर्दै it's very एकदम इन्ट्रेस्टिङ लाग्यो म्यानिपुलेट गर्नलाई. Like you could add text, you could add effects to it, and photo हाल्न मिल्ने black and white गर्न मिल्ने फोटोलाई हैन अनि इन्भर्ट गर्न मिल्ने के गर्न मिल्ने. I mean, this was really fascinating before early on हैन. So मैले चाहिँ यही चाहिँ this is a really cool thing to do भनेर चाहिँ मैले पहिला understand identify नगरी हाल्दाखेरि पनि मलाई चाहिँ के लाग्थ्यो भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ whatever I did it for fun. So actually fun रमाइलो स्टार्ट भएको यो हैन. So अब त्यही त हो, like when you start doing it and you kind of गर्दै जाँदाखेरि you kind of get used to it. अनि कस्तो भयो भन्दाखेरि मलाई चाहिँ अब I'm not really formally trained. I mean, I was a business student back in college. अनि त्यो भएर चाहिँ अब डिजाइनको त्यस्तो मजाले चाहिँ इन डेप्थमा थियोरिटिकल नलेज नपाएको भएर पनि होला हैन. सो मैले चाहिँ I used to have like कति चिजहरु चाहिँ पहिला जान्दैन थियो के. किन भन्दाखेरि एउटा फरक मैले के पाउँथे भन्दाखेरि फर्मली ट्रेन भएको जुन त्यति बेला कम्प्युटर इन्स्टिट्युटमा अलि फोटोशपहरु सिकाउँथ्यो नि त्यो जान्ने मान्छेहरु र ममा चाहिँ फरक कहाँनिर थियो भने दे न्यू द सर्टकट्स, दे न्यू कुन फिल्टरले के गर्छ, कहाँनिर कुन एक्सनले के गर्छ भन्ने कुरा चाहिँ दे वर ट्रेन टु नो द्याट थिङ हैन. तर मलाई चाहिँ आउँदैन थियो बिकज एभ्रिथिङ वाज एक्सपेरिमेन्टिङ हैन. ल यो फिल्टरले के गर्ने रहेछ, गुजियन ब्लरले के गर्ने रहेछ, मोसन ब्लरले के गर्ने रहेछ. सो एक्चुअली आई ह्याड टु identify each of that myself. त्यो गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ के भयो भन्दाखेरि kind of it took me longer for me to get up to date with what I was doing compared to what I believe I would have been if I was formally trained. अनि if you can see my script free your mind about the concept of harmony and of music being correct, you can do whatever you want. So nobody told me what to do, and there was no preconception of what to do. So you got the he then ended up becoming one of the most legendary musicians out there because उसले चाहिँ टेक्निक्सहरुलाई आउँदैन थियो. त्यही भएर उसले रुल्सहरु थाहा नभएको भएर उसले रुल्स ब्रेक गरेर he kind of created this incredible band called Daft Punk. Like he's been one of the members, and he's also been a DJ. अनि त्यो गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ this is the kind of inspiration I get. अनि I kind of have this parallel to my story. मेरो स्टोरी पनि लगभग यस्तै भएको कारणले गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ I really wanted to start this with this particular quote. When you go back and look at my as personal, so this was one of my earliest works भनौँ सो त्यति बेला चाहिँ के हुन्थ्यो भन्दाखेरि खासै कमर्सियली काम गरिन थियो सो जति काम गरेँ आफ्नै पर्सनल रमाइलोको लागि गरेँ त्यो गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ आई काइन्ड अफ स्टार्टेड अफ using this free hosting called cjb.net अनि त्यहाँ माथि ब्लर देखेर चाहिँ त्यो चाहिँ मोसन ब्लर खै के थियो त्यसमा सो काइन्ड अफ द्याट्स वाइ इट्स ब्लर्ड राइट नाउ अनि दिस इज हाउ इट स्टार्टेड एन्ड दिस वाज समथिङ द मोस्ट वी कुड डु विथ द वेब किनभने वेब त्यति अहिले जस्तो फ्लरिस भइसकेको थिएन web was not a service or a product delivery platform, it rather was just an information portal मात्रै थियो नि त त्यति बेला सो त्यो भएर चाहिँ अब यति जानियो which is good, well and fine, HTML चलाउन आयो CSS चलाउन आयो अनि then kind of it got interesting from here and then a couple of friends knew कि स्वप्निललाई डिजाइन गर्न आउँछ वेब पेज डिजाइन गर्न आउँछ भनेर चाहिँ they kind of the message got like अलिकति मान्छेले थाहा पायो त्यो गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ I kind of teamed up with my friend and we kind of did this was our first gig so यो चाहिँ एउटा स्कुल अनि एउटा चाहिँ एउटा अटोमोबाइल वर्कशपको वेबसाइट चाहिँ this was the first paid project and I felt really proud that there was this thing called site designed by Swapnil Acharya देख्न पाउन यति एक्साइटिङ लाग्यो हैन so this was the first work that ever went up online I mean I've look back and it's like okay it looks I don't know त्यो म कलेजमा थिएँ मैले त्यति गर्नु पनि थिएन सो देन त्यो भएपछि चाहिँ आई काइन्ड अफ गट अलिकति डिभिएटेड बिचमा मैले यो 2003 तिरको कुरा हो हैन अन्टिल 2006 मा आएर चाहिँ आई एन्डेड अप गेटिङ enrolled into one of the web design contests त्यति बेला वेभ म्यागजिनले Bhushan was there so Bhushan if you've attended earlier sessions you must have seen Bhushan's work so Bhushan was there अनि युवाकर दाइ हुनुहुन्थ्यो and then we kind of but I won अनि यो भन्दा अगाडि पनि एक वर्ष अगाडि पनि मैले चाहिँ कन्टेन्टहरु रेडी गरेको थिएँ डिजाइन रेडी गरेको थिएँ but I did not submit because I didn't know the deadline was passed. So it kind of validated. It got validated because there was this bunch of people who thought my work was good enough to win a contest. And this was a confidence body. Commercially, professionally, काम गर्न सकिन्छ भनेर. तर बिचमा things changed. I'll share a very funny तर 3-4 महिना CA classes attend गरेपछि I realized this thing is not for me. So यो चीज गरेर काम छैन भनेर चाहिँ मैले रियलाइजेसन भयो. This was when I was still doing my we used to do like two things एउटा यतापट्टि academic degree अनि यतापट्टि चाहिँ यो प्रोफेसनल त्यति बेला गरेर CA चाहिँ like I kind of decided not to do it and त्यति नै बेला चाहिँ I kind of started working for a couple of people I knew अनि त्यहाँबाट स्टार्ट भयो. त्यसपछि चाहिँ के भयो भन्दाखेरि वेब गर्यो तर कस्तो भन्दाखेरि वेबमा चाहिँ त्यति धेरै ट्र्याक्सन आइरहेको थिएन कि मेरो because I was only doing like 2-3 projects a year अनि simultaneously what I realized कि there's something else that I can do really well so I can do print is something that was very exciting because अहिले भइदिए probably print को charm त्यति छैन because अहिले हेर्दाखेरि चाहिँ maybe print is not something that a lot of people find very appealing but back then print was still very much in fashion so I kind of got together with some really fantastic people and it was again Bhushan who recommended me to Teridi Chiring Shoren. She's such a lovely person. I want to give out a shout out Didi if you're listening. अनि त्यसपछि चाहिँ we started with Y magazine. So Y मा चाहिँ मैले 3 issues मा काम गरेँ and then this got discontinued. Suraj will get back to me the why so many things that I do get discontinued. So, but this was also a very interesting project. So तीनवटा issue गर्दाखेरि I learned a lot how this is done, how magazine को work कसरी हुन्छ, how page setting and all these fantastic things. And I also tried to bring in my understanding of a modern design. And if you see towards the right, यो चाहिँ हामीले एउटा film issue गरेको थियो Ani you're saying it's kind of, I'll come back to it, why this particular design is pretty important to me, because this was one of the film poster-ish kind of cover that they wanted as the cover. अनि यहाँबाट चाहिँ मुभीको पोस्टर पनि मलाई एकदम इन्ट्रेस्टिङ लाग्थ्यो पहिलादेखि नै. काइन्ड अफ इट वाज समथिङ द्याट आई वाज रियली एज अ किड, इट वाज जस्ट मलाई चाहिँ त्यसले चाहिँ एकदम थ्रिल गर्थ्यो to look at these huge billboards and movie posters being pasted all across the city. So त्यहाँबाट चाहिँ that was my earliest fascination. कसरी चाहिँ मलाई मुभी पोस्टर्समा किन इन्ट्रेस्ट भयो भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ त्यहाँबाट काइन्ड अफ आई स्टार्टेड like enjoying it. And this was one of the chances where I got a small chance to flex that muscle. But then this would come back much later in my career. I didn't know that. त्यसपछि I was still doing web, यतापट्टि वेब गर्दै थिएँ, यतापट्टि प्रिन्ट पनि गर्दै थिएँ. So this was हाम्रो टिमको एउटा वेबसाइट, and which was one of my first interesting work. त्यसपछि चाहिँ I did some programming. So PHP, त्यति बेला PHP मा सफ्टवेयर लेख्ने पनि मैले attempt गरेँ, which was again I look back and it was a good skill to know. I mean, it's still good for me to know how a software is coded, but this was something that I wrote myself from scratch. So this was in PHP. So एउटा चाहिँ radio program थियो, search for common ground को, यसको चाहिँ full CMS नै kind of it was custom coded. Weird. त्यसपछि चाहिँ there are a couple of other nice websites that I like that I've done. So this is these are two projects for Fulbright that I did. These were two Fulbright scholars who were doing their research in Nepal. So one was Liz Lance, who just beauty Nepal beauty standards को बारेमा एउटा research गर्नु भएको थियो. अनि अर्को चाहिँ Maureen Dak, जसले चाहिँ she had this project called the Prakriti project. So it was a referral. So Liz she recommended me to Maureen, and then I got to work with these two fantastic people. And this is still one of my signatures. I still consider these to be my signature work till today. And the third one is nepalphotography.com, which you see. This was an idea that me and my friends, especially Gaurav and Prajwal and others, started about saying a photography community banam, that people will be able to share their photos. भनेर चाहिँ हामीले एउटा nepalphotography.org भन्ने एउटा वेबसाइट एउटा ब्लग स्टार्ट गर्यो. यसमा चाहिँ काइन्ड अफ this was PHP, this was custom coded. So that was in 2007-8 तिर होला यो. So we kind of started this thing. It was a decently good website that we built. अनि सुरुमा चाहिँ it kind of had राम्रै traffic थियो. We used to get about 20-25 photos a week, which is a lot. Community मान्छे जो नेपालमा चाहिँ फोटोग्राफी कम्युनिटीमा भएको मान्छेहरूले त्यति एक्टिभ हुनु चाहिँ राम्रो थियो. अनि this was also an opportunity where we kind of did some photography. So I was also involved in taking pictures myself and had my own fancy profile in that. So if you see, these all kind of overlap all the things I do. कुनै चाहिँ print र web को combination, कुनै चाहिँ web र photo को combination, कुनै चाहिँ photo र web को combination. So I think though I consider myself to be अब अहिले आएर चाहिँ 2016-17 पछि चाहिँ I consider myself an out and out digital designer. तर यो भन्दा अगाडि चाहिँ मैले गरेको कामहरु धेरै खाले छ, तर सबै काम चाहिँ म interconnected छ भन्ने देख्छु हैन. So it's not something मैले hop गरे चाहिँ छैन, because I didn't just decide to do, okay, I'm going to do one thing, I'm going to do retail, and then I want to do real estate, and then I want to do insurance. त्यस्तो छैन हैन. So kind of it's all part of the bigger picture जस्तो लाग्छ मलाई. त्यही भएर चाहिँ it was learning. I mean, जुन medium गरे नि, it was like my difference in medium मात्रै consider गर्छु यसलाई. अनि there are more mediums that I worked on. So I did some book covers. So your book cover मा चाहिँ I did the design and the photography itself. So यो पछाडीको image चाहिँ kind of Uni Road मा एकदम random खिचेको picture थियो. अनि अगाडिपट्टि चाहिँ I got the publisher of fine print, Mr. Ajit Baral, to pose with that gun. And then that gun was like what 60 rupees मा हामीले किनेको थियो त्यही अगाडिको पसलमा हैन. So it's a fake gun. And then this was posed, and we kind of did an interesting thing. And you saying it was a calling card that we did. You saying this was before there was the VoIP one. It's a technology theory that you could make internet calls. This was a recharge card. I did the photo and the design as well. And then about 2 years of my life, 2009 to 2010, I took a full-time job of designing a newspaper. It was a daily work. So every day you go to work and then you have a set of things to do and you got to complete them. So मेरो office, I used to go around 4 बजीतिर जान्थेँ अनि 4 बजेपछि 6-7 बजेसम्ममा कन्टेन्ट रेडी हुन्थ्यो अनि 8, 9, 10, 11 बजेसम्म चाहिँ डिजाइन हुन्थ्यो and then it used to go to press. So deadline भनेको चाहिँ it was not in days, it was in hours. So you know, you got to finish your work by the end of the day and you cannot go home unless you're done. So it was fun. I mean, every morning paper boy le घरमा ल्याएर पेपर छोडिदिँदाखेरि राति डिजाइन गरेर आएको चिज हेर्दाखेरि चाहिँ it was definitely very exciting. तर यो चाहिँ it kind of start becoming very counterproductive for me because design चाहिँ it kind of takes time and it takes thinking. And I really want to do good design rather than spend too little time to get something done. त्यो भएर चाहिँ क्वालिटी पनि मैले भनेको लेभलमा आइरहेको थिएन अनि मेरो लाइफस्टाइल पनि एकदमै इरेटिक भयो. आई युज्ड टु वेक अप एट 10 AM अनि देन नथिङ गेट्स डन दिनभरि. देन 3 बजीतिर हिँड्यो अफिस, 4 बजी पुग्यो बेलुका अनि राति 11-12 बजीसम्म काम गऱ्यो. एन्ड काइन्ड अफ इट डिडन्ट वर्क फर मी, सो आई क्यानट क्विट. I quit that job. त्यसपछि चाहिँ I did some other kind of works. You see here, एउटा चाहिँ vector art मा चाहिँ मैले यो poster बनाएको थिएँ, which was a poetry competition को. This was in 2011. And त्यसपछि me and my friends, we also got together and we made a movie called Duplicity. I starred. I was an actor. I also did the poster. So I think it's still on YouTube. So
yeah, we will. I think somebody is already looking on YouTube now. Like, you get the link and share it.
We can share it later. And so yeah, so it's a short film that me and my friends did, and kind of मलाई चाहिँ त्यो फिल्म खेल्ने भन्दा नि पोस्टर बनाउन चाहिँ बडी इन्ट्रेस्टिङ लागेको थियो त्यति बेला हैन, because I think the poster looks really nice. अनि then पोस्टर बनाएपछि चाहिँ I think यो पार्ट यहाँनिर आएपछि चाहिँ Duplicity opened a new door for me. So it was a very small work. I mean, just bunch of friends working for the personal pleasure. But then यो वर्क र यो पछिको एक दुईवटा अरू सर्ट फिल्मको वर्क देखेपछि चाहिँ I finally got to make my big break in Nepali films with 2 films back to back. First I did Loot. And while I was working with Loot, Deepak Dai met me and we started working in Highway. Highway came out before Loot. So, and Loot ali pachi aayo. So these were 2 films that kind of gave me the kickstart of my movie poster career, which was, I mean, it was like, I didn't expect that this would happen, but so quickly Loot became so successful. Highway became so prestigious. And त्यसपछि चाहिँ kind of I suddenly realized that my years shifted, and now I am in the middle of a movie business. So I was kind of working. Well, thank you.
We have the link for Duplicity.
Okay. So yeah, अनि यहाँ पछि चाहिँ अब मुभीको चाहिँ स्टार्ट भयो. त्यसपछि चाहिँ मुभी मैले एउटा स्लाइड बिगारेँ चाहिँ एकछिन ल. This should have come अगाडि. Okay. So मुभी गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ kind of I did movies for about 6-7 years. 6-7 वर्षमा चाहिँ I did some pretty interesting films. So यहाँबाट चाहिँ धेरैवटा पोस्टर्सहरु चाहिँ सबैले देख्नु पनि भएको होला. So यसमा चाहिँ there are different styles, different ideas. तर सबैको चाहिँ बेस के थियो भन्दाखेरि I really wanted to do something that नेपाली फिल्ममा चाहिँ पहिला नगरेको चिज, because यो भन्दा अगाडि चाहिँ before Loot नेपालको मुभी सिनमा चाहिँ it was heavily influenced by Bollywood posters. Actually यहाँसम्म कि they used to design these posters in India. इन्डियामा नै डिजाइन गर्थ्यो उनीहरूले बनारसमा, अनि त्यहाँबाट kind of it didn't have नेपालीनेस at all हैन. अनि त्यसपछि हामीले हाम्रो स्टाइल क्रिएट गर्न मिल्छ भनेर चाहिँ लुटले भ्यालिडेट गर्यो. त्यसपछि चाहिँ a series of other films came and we got some really incredible designers like Ananda who kind of really helped. मैले त्यसलाई एक लेभल माथि लगाउन खोजेको चिजलाई आनन्दले 5 लेभल माथि लग्यो हैन. So kind of really दुई जनाले चाहिँ we kind of became like the wheel. We see that how transition चाहिँ त्यसरी भयो. A story about kids in it was about Ratnabarko Tarkari Bazarko, like this is one of my published works, which was my first, so I decided to include it here. And you saying that's where I met Suraj, I met Robik, and I met a bunch of people who were driven by a common passion of of photography. And photography I must still go so but I'm limited to Instagram right now. And mostly food photography. Times have changed. But I think there was a phase in my life when I also considered myself to be a photographer. But the thing is, this might say यसलाई pursue गरिन because my life kind of got dictated by other things, like for example success of Loot. Maybe Loot successful नभएको भए म फोटो पनि खिचिरहेको हुन्थ्यो होला professionally, I don't know, but I'm not doing that anymore. So अनि त्यसपछि चाहिँ film गर्दाखेरि these are some of my really nice works which I like. So there are a lot, but these are the ones that I consider are the most impressive ones and the ones that are close to my heart. So Romeo and Muna भन्ने फिल्ममा चाहिँ हामी चाहिँ भिन्सेन्ट भ्यान गगको चाहिँ फिल्ममा there are certain themes where the actress is an artist and उसले चाहिँ Van Goghको paintings she really appreciates. So फिल्ममा चाहिँ एउटा full song sequence नै they actually have visual effect गरेर चाहिँ Van Goghको paintingsहरु नै बेस गरेको थियो हैन. So त्यही भएर पोस्टरमा त्यो फिलिङ ल्याउनको लागि चाहिँ all the posters of Romeo and Muna have that kind of Van Goghish feeling to it, which I am really lucky that actually this is the closest I've been to Van Gogh. So which is good. And Seto Suryako poster, it's very subtle. And a lot of the comments and a lot of the criticisms that I received in my work is that they were just too commercial. Swapnil poster is very formulaic. And Seto Surya and Batshala are two films which I was really able to do something that is very different from the other works I've done. So Seto Suryako there's a recurring themes, and I love having recurring themes in my posters. The Van Goghko theme, Romeo and Muna ko sabai poster ma cha haina. Seto Suryako sabai poster ma there is this white flare of sun that kind of is there in every poster. And arko film Purano Dunga भन्नेको film ko poster ma every poster has a lake and a boat in different sizes and different positions. It's a consistent theme carry I have done. So Seto Suryako poster I really like how this white sun is kind of glaring from behind the Anrai's face. And Batshala and Sunkeshri was also one of the posters what really kind of grabbed people's attention. And so first thing people see is like there's this certain degree of captivation that people look at it and say, oh, okay, this is unique. First reaction though this poster factually incorrect because film it's not like this, it's something else happens. I'll tell you a secret, I've not watched this film, so I heard that kind of the Richa is not the main ghost. So I don't know. And Nepali फिल्महरुमा चाहिँ mostly the posters are very similar हैन. यहाँ कतिवटा बन्दुक ताकिरहेछ हेरौँ त यहाँ यहाँ एउटा बन्दुक ताकिरहेछ, यहाँ एउटा बन्दुक ताकिरहेछ, यसको हातमा नि बन्दुक छ, यसको हातमा नि बन्दुक छ, यहाँ पोस्टरको टाइटलमै बन्दुक छ हैन. So a lot of these posters are very formulaic, and because the films have very similar themes, they have similar actors and they have similar styles. त्यो गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ मलाई चाहिँ आफैले एक लेभल अफ स्ट्याग्नेसन चाहिँ फिल हुन थालेको थियो कि बिचमा गएर चाहिँ 2-3 वर्ष काम गरिसकेपछि चाहिँ इभन माई वर्क्स हेभ स्टार्टेड टु लुक द सेम भन्ने चाहिँ लाग्थ्यो कि बिकज किन भन्दाखेरि फिल्म प्रोड्युसर्स रियली वान्ट टु वर्क in a proven formula, so they kind of if something's worked they want to make sure that it's
the same thing,
it's the same thing, so that there's surety. त्यो गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ कामहरु अलि फरक देखिन थाल्यो. त्यो भएर चाहिँ मैले चाहिँ I took some off the beat films, experimental films, just posters they were really unconventional for the rest of my. So मैले सबै कामलाई एकातिर राखे भने यो कामहरु चाहिँ फरक देखिन्थ्यो. So these were, unfortunately, all these three films did not launch, but I'm still showing it to you. So the idea here was to create a poster without a main actor's face. So there's just this guy falling off a crane. So or this girl addicted poster where you really have this very modern looking gradient that I played around with. So I mean, you're saying this was an iFlix series. I don't know if it ever happened or it didn't, but basically a mixture of photo and art, like hand-drawn art, like merge kind of, oh, there's a gun there as well. So so these were the kind of film works that I did. I mean, I'm not doing it right now because the last film that I did was 2016 ko July pachi. Saying I've not done actively any film that has released. Bichma saying I got busy, my priorities changed. And most importantly, it was very difficult for me to exercise my creative freedom. And mostly, it was a very similar kind of work. I was not being satisfied with what I was doing. I decided that films like above because this and I was in a phase of life where and I really एक पोइन्टमा पुगेपछि चाहिँ passion fuel गर्ने भन्दा नि more realistic requirements हुन्छ life. I got married and then
things changed.
Things changed. त्यो भएपछि चाहिँ अब like your priorities change हुन्छ अनि experiment गर्ने भन्दा नि kind of go ahead with like making sure that you perform what you really need to. So त्यो भएर चाहिँ मैले I kind of didn't नयाँ चिज गरेँ भन्दिनँ because I went back to what I was doing. So I come from a web background. So ultimately, I did go back to digital media. So digital media ma nahi gaera, I decided ki okay, I think this is something that I really can do well. This has an international prospect. I mean, it also opened up my paths to working with international clients. And I've definitely about key point financials also matter. So financials matter because what you do, the amount of effort you put into anything, kind of you expect that level of return. Digital design, all those things were guaranteed. I considered that okay, this is what it should be like. And 2014 ko summer ma I met Balkrishna Joshi Dai, who I consider to be one of my major mentors and a person who's really helped me to get where I am today. And he came up with an idea saying he wanted to build a money transfer app. This is before TransferWise, before Remitly, before any of these popular money transfer services were happening. यो 2014 सालमा चाहिँ भर्खर भर्खर स्टार्ट भएको थियो पेपालले पनि त्यो एकदम लिमिटेड मात्रै फिचर्सहरु थियो पेपालमा पनि हैन सो ही सेड लाइक रेमिटेन्स मार्केट इज ह्युज अहिले चाहिँ बेसिकली कतारमा अथवा युएस मा अथवा मलेसियामा चाहिँ people are going to an agent depositing cash and then that agent kind of relays that information to Nepal where their relatives collect money and the whole process like digitize गरे भने चाहिँ धेरै फाइदा छ in terms of making it efficient, making it transparent. So you actually wanted to change the way money is brought in Nepal. So Nepal paisa आउने तरिका चाहिँ change गर्नलाई let's do something which is never been done before भनेर चाहिँ we started this thamelramit.com भन्ने चाहिँ he kind of like we decided to work on it तर त्यति बेला चाहिँ he was not ready. So product test licenses हरु आइसकेको थिएन. Then I decided then he recommended that okay, it's going to take about a month or two before we can really start working. Why don't you go and meet Himal, who is the president of Leapfrog Technology, where I'm working right now. So and I went to meet him. And we kind of started this engagement 2014 देखि. And त्यति बेला चाहिँ I had my own company, so it was called Expressive Studios. It's still there. I kind of parted ways with Expressive in 2017, and this I moved full time into Leapfrog. So त्यो गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ हामीले चाहिँ Expressive start गर्दाखेरि it was supposed to be this really amazing international quality design studio in Nepal. अनि जहाँ चाहिँ डिजाइन बिकज सबै आईटी कम्पनीजहरुको बीचमा चाहिँ एउटा डिजाइन कम्पनी डेफिनेटली मेक्स अ ह्युज डिफरेन्स भनेर वी काइन्ड अफ स्टार्टेड इट वाज रियली वेल बट देन बीचमा आएर चाहिँ इट इज अ ब्लग व्हिच आई हेभ रिटन previously on why I felt it's important for me to make sure that there is greater things that I can do with Leapfrog. And त्यहाँ भएर चाहिँ 2017 मा चाहिँ I kind of like returned all my shares and then I moved out of the company. अनि त्यसपछि चाहिँ इट्स नट बिकज डिजाइनको स्कोप नभएर अथवा डिजाइन गर्न नगरेर चाहिँ हैन बट स्टिल त्यो चाहिँ त्यो इन्भाइरोमेन्ट त्यो पर्टिकुलर सेटिङ भन्दा चाहिँ अहिले वाट आइ एम डुइङ राइट नाउ इज मोर मिनिङफुल. इट्स एक्चुअली मोर काइन्ड अफ इट मेक्स मी ह्याप्पियर टु डु अनि काइन्ड अफ इट लेट्स मी डु अल दिज इन्क्रेडिबल थिङ्स. अनि तर कस्तो छ भन्दाखेरि अब आज आइम भेरी सरी द्याट आई डोन्ट ह्याभ एनी वर्क स्याम्पल्स द्याट आई क्यान सो यु बिकज द थिङ विथ दिज हाम्रो खालको वर्कमा चाहिँ के हुन्छ भन्दाखेरि देयर इज समथिङ कल्ड एन एनडीए, अ नन डिस्क्लोजर एग्रीमेन्ट, that we cannot really show the work that we do at Leapfrog. So त्यही भएर चाहिँ मैले एकदम I've done some great work भनेर भन्दाखेरि पनि I cannot show it to you to validate because I cannot show them publicly. But these are some of the work that I can definitely show you. These are all my passion projects that I've done. Most of these चाहिँ dribble मा हाल्छु हैन. So this is something that I just do stress relief को लागि पनि mostly. अब when you're working on a real project it kind of gets stressful, so we can यसो free time भएको बेला के गर्ने भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ let's put up something conceptual. Kind of I have done these various designs that are out there in Dribble, and I mostly share in Dribble and my website. So my website मा चाहिँ अहिले अलिकति ब्लगहरुमा फोकस गरेको बेला डिजाइन चाहिँ त्यति धेरै छैन मेरो वेबसाइटमा. अनि त्यसमै चाहिँ लोकली पनि मैले काम चाहिँ like I've done some work, but I've done very few local work. So Search for Common Ground सँग हुँदाखेरि चाहिँ I did a lot of work for their digital and marketing presence. तर बिचमा गएर चाहिँ मैले लोकली चाहिँ वेबको काम गरेन हैन. सो तर एक्सप्रेसिभमा चाहिँ we were lucky to do work with two big clients. The Foodmanduको desktop app र Hondaको website are two of the most interesting works that I can show you. अनि the Foodmanduको website is still up. Hondaमा चाहिँ I see that there has been certain changes since we last worked on it. So all of this is fun. So तर अहिले चाहिँ कस्तो छ भन्दाखेरि नेपालमा पनि डिजाइनको डिमान्ड चाहिँ राम्रै छ हैन. सो इभन लास्ट कपल अफ इयर्स 1-2 वर्षमा चेन्ज भएकोमा हेर्दाखेरि चाहिँ डेफिनेटली डिजाइन पहिलाको जति हामी एक्सप्रेसिभमा गर्दाखेरि जतिको फिडेलिटीमा हामी काम गर्थ्यौं त्यो भन्दा चाहिँ मार्केटमा अहिले त्यो भन्दा राम्रो डिजाइन्सहरु आएको छ हैन, which is really good. अनि it's also exciting to see where we're going. So I don't have many slides left, but I can still mostly चाहिँ अब मलाई क्वेशन चाहिँ के आउँछ भन्दा UX डिजाइनरले खास गर्ने चाहिँ के हो त हैन. लाइक डिजाइनर त भयो, अब प्रिन्ट डिजाइनर हो कि छाप्ने कुरा डिजाइन गर्ने हैन. सो लोगो डिजाइनरले लोगो बनाउने, UX डिजाइनरले चाहिँ के गर्ने हुन्छ हैन. सो which is kind of a broader term हैन. So here's this chart, a diagram that shows that UI डिजाइन जुन हामी वेब डिजाइन अथवा एप डिजाइन भन्छ नि, सो त्यसको चाहिँ मेन भिजुअल कस्तो देखिन्छ, त्यो त्यसमा कुन कलरको छ, कुन बटनको छ, what does it look like, फोटोजहरु कस्तो छ, फन्ट कुन युज गरेछ भन्ने कुरा चाहिँ इट्स कभर्ड बाइ अ टाइनी फ्र्याक्सन अफ what it is. So which is UI डिजाइन, युजर इन्टरफेस डिजाइन. अब यो भन्दा ठुलो कन्सेप्ट चाहिँ इन्टरेक्सन डिजाइन भन्ने कन्सेप्ट छ, जहाँ चाहिँ हाउ डु वी इन्टरेक्ट विथ the computers भन्ने चाहिँ there is this certain philosophy जहाँ चाहिँ when I kind of interact with a UI, it should kind of give me a response, or it should execute a command that I have requested it to perform. So यो चिजहरु चाहिँ इन्टरेक्सन डिजाइन भित्र पर्यो हैन. यसमा चाहिँ अब इन्फर्मेसन आर्किटेक्चर भनेको चाहिँ इफ जस्ट इमेजिन मेरो एपमा चाहिँ मेरो कस्टमरलाई युजरलाई चाहिँ मैले पोइन्ट ए बाट पोइन्ट बी मा पुर्याउनु छ अरे. त्यो ए बाट बी मा पुग्नको लागि चाहिँ के स्क्रिन्सहरुबाट अथवा के फंक्शन्स एक्जिक्युट गरेर चाहिँ उ चाहिँ त्यो फाइनल डेस्टिनेसन उसको सक्सेसमा पुग्छ भन्ने चाहिँ त्यो एउटा डायग्रामेटिक रिप्रेजेन्टेसन गर्छ हामी हैन, जसलाई चाहिँ इन्फर्मेसन आर्किटेक्चर बनाएर. सो यु क्यान जस्ट सी स्क्रिन ए बाट बी मा जान्छ, बी बाट सी मा जान्छ, सी मा दुईटा अप्सन हुन्छ, C1 अथवा D1 र D2 मा जान्छ. सो काइन्ड अफ वी क्रिएट द होल architecture diagram, which basically is an information architecture. And communications ko part sa bhaneko chai what we write or what we convey on a website. So the kind of language we use हैन. अब हाम्रो app website friendly छ कि अलिकति प्रोफेसनल छ भने त्यही खालको ल्याङ्ग्वेज युज गर्नु पर्यो. अलि हिप अलिकति युजफुल छ भने त्यही खालको ल्याङ्ग्वेज युज गर्नु पर्यो. इमेजेसहरु पनि सिमिलर आउनु पर्यो. त्यो खालको एउटा कम्युनिकेसनको चाहिँ एउटा पर्सनालिटी बनाउनेलाई हेल्प गर्यो हैन. अनि ह्युमन कम्प्युटर इन्टरेक्सन भनेको चाहिँ इभन ब्रोडर टपिक which actually goes beyond UX or interaction design, where how a person and a computer interact. I mean, it could be many ways. It could be a physical or it could be virtual, it could be anything. I mean, there's a bigger study. And this is human factors, how we as humans influence these interactions. And then there's industrial design of making physical stuff like your phone or your pen or anything. a desk, chair, whatever. So this is very broad. So design आफैमा यति vast छ नि त. So सबै गर्न नि सकिदैन, एउटै डिजाइनरले सबै गर्दैन हैन. So म चाहिँ mainly what I consider is I look at this diagram and this is how I describe myself. So यो ग्रीन भित्र भएको चिज चाहिँ are the things that I do. So HCI चाहिँ अलिकति टच भएको छ, म धेरै गर्दिनँ because that's a completely different domain. अनि मैले इन्डस्ट्रियल डिजाइनमा हात हालेको छैन. And communication, it's mostly not my work. We actually have a content writer who does all the communication writing part. So and information architecture, there's kind of, it's part of the UX. And this is relatively, this is how I kind of like to describe what I do. All right, so go on, Suraj.
Yeah. So I think one question by you summed up everything that you're doing, and almost answered almost most of my questions already.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Also, people who are listening, watching, I'm sure they have a lot of questions already. You can start putting it on our chat co and also comment box, and then slowly answer them as relevant as possible. So with all you've said, let's take a step back, rewind. Let's go back. The first part, like when you started, I read a few and I watched in some of the videos that you were featured in, that your parents had a dream of you to be something else, then you become something else decide भयो, and at the end you are where you are right now. Yes. So you change. What is your parents' perception right now? Like, are they like most of the time digital design, or you like IT one? People might think it's not sustainable job.
Yes.
You are Australia गयो अथवा नि नेपालमा बसेर चाहिँ त्यस्तो हुँदैन भने. So what is the perception?
मलाई चाहिँ फर्स्टमा what म एक्चुअली कम्प्युटरमा के गर्छु भन्ने कुरा एक्सप्लेन गर्न नै सबैभन्दा गाह्रो भएको थियो हैन. So what they used to see when I'm working, they see me from behind. Basically कम्प्युटरमा फोटोहरु खोलेर बसिएर फोटो काटेर बसिरहेछ हैन. So like basically they had an impression that I was basically looking at images all day. But basically Photoshop when you load an image and you start manipulating it, you just end up seeing the image, right? So that was the impression they had. And it kind of it really changed after I did some really recognizable work. And after, it was in 2012 when actually I decided to start Expressive. My parents were finally convinced that okay, if this is worth establishing a company for, probably it's good enough. And I think it's kind of very easy for me to explain because they themselves have started becoming avid app users, so they understand what an app is and how websites function. So I think this was something that was not really done. Even those who were computer engineers basically wrote codes and they didn't really do graphics and they didn't do these kind of things. The first few years there was a lot of friction. They wanted me to get into accounting profession. I'm bad with math, I want to confess. Large numbers add gonna be in my mind, kind of I lose my mind.
You're good at making mock-up of calculator apps.
Oh yes, I've done that, yes. Interestingly, I want to go back to this Tamil Ramitko screen. यति बेला हामीले यो स्क्रिन गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ हैन हामीसँग रेफरेन्स नै थिएन के. So we had to conceptualize this whole thing ourselves because nobody had done it, even TransferWise because कोही पनि थिएन के त्यति बेला. So we had to come up with this ourselves. So this was one of my biggest challenges that was given to me, but thankfully it came out well. I still cannot add 4,300 and 499, but that's a different story.
So Ani, then slowly we met during photo events, photography to and then I kind of remember when you first started nepalphotography.org, you actually emailed a lot of photographers the circle to say hey, join Garana, because I think that Flickr was kind of the big thing.
Yeah.
And we wanted something like you were in that email. You said you wanted something Nepali or where you can actually get comments and get voted best photo of the week month. I still remember that.
Yeah.
And then that website was already kind of a hub for photographers where they could find about events happening. The photographer which it's very vague. nepalphotography.org was the one-stop solution. Why did it stop?
I think मेनली हामी दुईजना थियो त्यसमा, गौरव ध्वज खड्का र म, who were kind of the main people who made it happen. बिचमा गएर चाहिँ really it was not just about us, because to scale forward we actually needed the support of the whole community. I'm not saying that we didn't have support. There were some really wonderful people who really supported us. They were really like proactive, submitting their works and showing the galleries, but it had a certain cost involved. So किनभने नि अब हामीले सबै हाम्रो आफै बियर गरे भने पनि डोमेन एन्ड होस्टिङ मात्र एक्जाम्पल दिउँ न, सो त्यो बियर गर्न पनि we actually had to look at the financial aspects of it. अनि त्यो भयो. अनि अर्को कुरा चाहिँ प्रायोरिटिजहरु पनि भयो, because त्यसपछि when it kind of was there, अलि स्ट्याग्नेट हुन थालेपछि चाहिँ म पनि डाइभर्ट भएँ. म एक्चुअली interestingly we both kind of, Gaurav and me, we both moved towards movies, because उ चाहिँ he was more into cinematography and like filmmaking part मा, म चाहिँ यता पोस्टर डिजाइन र मार्केटिङमा गरेर हामी एक्चुअली दुवैजना चाहिँ यहाँबाट अलिकति मुभ आउट भयो कि, and we kind of headed toward a different direction. अनि त्यसपछि चाहिँ अनि when it kind of यो कन्टेन्ट बेस्ड वेबसाइटहरुको चाहिँ प्रब्लम के रहेछ भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ जति कन्टेन्ट आयो त्यति ह्यापनिङ हुने, कन्टेन्ट आउन कम हुने बित्तिकै चाहिँ सुक्न जान थाल्ने रहेछ क्या. त्यो भएको भएर चाहिँ इट काइन्ड अफ स्टार्ट्स गेटिङ पोइन्टमा पुगेपछि चाहिँ कन्टेन्ट अभाव हुन थालेपछि चाहिँ मान्छेको इन्ट्रेस्ट चाहिँ घट्दो रहेछ. त्यही भएर पनि इफ यु सी दिज वेबसाइट्स लाइक अनस्प्ल्यासहरू जुन अहिले पपुलर वेबसाइटहरूलाई चाहिँ दे कन्स्टेन्टली डु इमेलहरू पठाइरहेको हुन्छ, उनीहरू ग्यालेरीमा माथि टप फोटोग्राफर्सहरू टप फोटोजहरू भनेर प्रमोट गरिरहेको हुन्छ. इट्स अल अबाउट द साइज, द अमाउन्ट अफ कन्टेन्ट द्याट दे जेनेरेटेड, द्याट इट एक्चुअली हुक्स पिपल. अनि त्यति बेला चाहिँ हामीले त्यो पनि गर्न सकेन, बिकज जे भयो नि इट वाज अ स्मल कम्युनिटी. म्याक्सिमममा हाम्रो अबाउट 150 जना फोटोग्राफर्स र इन्थुजियास्टहरू थियो होइन. अनि उनीहरूलाई चाहिँ कन्सटेन्टली एक खालको लाइक ऊ पनि भएन जस्तो लाग्यो कि मलाई. दे डिडन्ट ह्याभ इनफ ग्रेटिफिकेसन अफ सबमिटिङ द फोटोज, बिकज it was not really a photo किन्न मिल्ने stock photography platform पनि थिएन. अनि some of the photographers also had issues कि त्यहाँबाट चाहिँ फोटो सेभ एज गरेर डाउनलोड गर्न चाहिँ सजिलो हुने भएको भएर चाहिँ some were pretty skeptical of letting the photos roam like that out in the wild. त्यो भएर चाहिँ मलाई चाहिँ मेनली चाहिँ it's because us as founders we kind of moved to a different direction. त्यो भएर चाहिँ it kind of died away is what I believe.
And also, I think Facebook, if you go search nepalphotography.org, there's still a page.
Yeah,
nothing much is happening, but if you just go through it, you'll see a lot of people posting about their events, their Facebook page, photo page. So I think it might be a time where you can actually revive it, or hand it over, or let's see how it goes.
Yeah. It sounded like a crazy idea. There were two projects I specifically worked on. And एउटा चाहिँ nepalphotography.org. त्यसरी मान्छेलाई फ्रीमा फोटो बाँडेर नि हुन्छ र त्यसरी पनि मान्छेलाई फोटो लाइक दिन्छ र कसैले भनेर हामी त्यति बेला इनहिबिसन थियो हैन. एन्ड लुक एट websites like Unsplash and Pexels who have become such a big thing. There's similarly this another project called 11 Beep. मेरो अर्को बिमल महर्जन भन्ने फ्रेन्ड सँग we kind of worked together. So it was basically a app where you post something and it would automatically disappear in 24 hours. So this was 2013, and then we were like, people were like, त्यो अनि त्यो 24 घण्टापछि उड्छ भने त्यसलाई पोस्ट गरेको मतलब के भयो त भन्ने खालको चाहिँ that was our understanding. But look where we are right now. Snapchat and Instagram stories are the hottest thing out there, so they were good ideas. Probably they happened before time and in something that I regretfully have to say in the wrong part of the world. But yeah, like these ideas, we experimented with so many ideas, and kind of when you look back now, you see that the world has come that way. त्यही बाटो मी पछ्याउँदै वर्ल्ड आएको जस्तो लाग्छ अहिले हेर्दाखेरि चाहिँ.
Right. So I'll just stop your screen share एकछिनको लागि, because I want to talk nepalphotography.org बाट. It was not just a social online platform, but it was also an event planner type of thing, because you did a lot of exhibition त्यति बेला in collaboration with if I correctly pronounce it, Chomolunga CUC Gallery भनेर हैन. अनि let me share the posters that I have. त्यति बेला चाहिँ I think it was some of, I think, can you say this now?
Yes.
Right? So these were the posters that you designed, and Prajwal ko photo, Gaurav ko photo, अनि एउटा चाहिँ मेरो फोटो पनि छ,
Suraj ko photo छ लास्टमा.
So like what it because I know you as a person who loves doing behind the scene कामहरु, exhibition curate गर्ने, poster design गर्ने हैन. So how was the whole experience of हुन्छ नि exhibition गर्ने अनि event organize गर्ने?
I think the most interesting thing was the community that we're building, you know. So there's some really good people I knew, and I know them. Like I am in very close contact with so many people that we met and friends that we made, and I think it was a very nice forum for, you know, like really young people who have just started out. अब कुनै खतरा ग्यालरीमा गएर सोलो फोटो एक्जिबिसन गर्छु भने kind of it's hard for people who are just starting out, हैन. So त्यसले चाहिँ हामीले एउटा यस्तो खालको प्लेटफर्म बनाइदियो जहाँ चाहिँ like-minded people could come together, look at their photos, and they could share their own photos. And it was more exciting when you actually had a formalized process of how these photos were exhibited and how people came, looked at them, even in during like off hours in the restaurant. This was on a restaurant called Momo Magic. So the walls of the restaurant was converted into a gallery, and because we have Harivangsh uncle who was very, very helpful for making that happen. And त्यसपछि चाहिँ मान्छेहरु आएर चाहिँ मोमो खान आउने मान्छे पनि they actually stopped by, looked at the images, which is absolutely it was very delighting experience that people actually are appreciating your work. अनि it was त्यो भन्दा पनि important चाहिँ मैले चाहिँ त्यो community जुन हामीले एउटा community establish गर्न गर्यो नि, त्यो community चाहिँ still there's so many people who are working together, people who really used that portfolio and gone ahead and become greater things in life. So त्यो भएर चाहिँ I kind of think it was helpful for a lot. I believe even for me personally. I mean, I got a chance to, you know, like do this, which kind of made me happy. I used to look forward to doing the next exhibition. And यसको पोस्टरहरु पनि यसको मार्केटिङ पनि इन्ट्रेस्टिङ किन थियो भन्दाखेरि this we had absolute freedom and we could do the best. And कस्तो हुँदो रहेछ भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ when you are doing things that you really enjoy and things that you decide, your motivation level is like 100x because you kind of feel that urge to deliver the best. त्यो भएर चाहिँ you end up trying out new ideas and seeing where it goes. And I think it's been very, very helpful. Yeah.
And I think because of that exhibition, हामीले मोमो म्याचबाट फ्रन्टमा मोमो खाने स्टार्ट भएको पनि त्यसरी नै हो.
Yes, that was the perks. Yeah.
अनि yeah, and one of the exhibition that I was यतिकै randomly छिर्दाखेरि I could actually see people who went to order momo त्यहाँ खान जाँदाखेरि they were actually interacting with the photos, हुन्छ नि हेरेर, they were talking among themselves. So there was quite a nice instead of it being a gallery मै नगराखिकन त्यो collaborate गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ I think there was a much better interaction among the audience भनौँ न. So like after all that, then again it slowly died out, or भनौँ अहिले भनौँ न it's not died out but it's more under the blanket for now, हैन. Then you एउटा यो like you were mentioning about copyright को कुराहरु छ नि Nepal photography. You've been a victim of the copyright as well नि.
Oh yes,
a bank using your image. Yes. And like I can still find it on your Facebook page where the answer is still not like what happened.
Well,
there's no answer.
Yeah, they offered me 3,000 rupees. I'm sure that photo is worth more than 3,000 rupees. So I kind of the bargain was not worth it. I kind of refused to accept the remuneration because first if it was something that was agreed upon, so we're going to use your image and we don't have much money, we're going to pay you 3,000 rupees whenever, it would be a different story. But as a compensation, they offered the amount which I was not happy about, so I refused to accept it. They did acknowledge that the photo was used without permission, but then it didn't really go further than that because I would have kind of submitted myself to agreeing that it was okay, but then I did not, and I took my stand. So that's where it is today. So it's still out there in the limbo. It's not been decided. I did not accept the remuneration. So it also it was an idea to send out a message that, you know, it's not okay. It's not okay to steal photos. It's not okay to right click and save as.
Right. And I think there are धेरै incident धेरैजना फोटोग्राफरको फोटोहरु युज भएको छ, still not answered, हैन. We have
तर interestingly चाहिँ एउटा कुरा चाहिँ के हुँदो रहेछ भन्दाखेरि photos that you voluntarily decided to launch on a Creative Commons license, त्यो फोटोजहरु चाहिँ बाटोमा देख्दा चाहिँ इन्ट्रेस्टिङ लाग्छ कि. सो मैले स्पेसिफिकली एउटा विकिपीडियामा एउटा विकिमिडियामा एउटा सेल रोटीको फोटो छ. And what really fascinates me बाटोमा यति धेरै मिठाई पसलहरुमा त्यो फोटो राखिरा हुन्छ यहाँ सेल पाइन्छ भनेर हैन
right, okay.
So that's interesting. I mean, because I have voluntarily agreed to these people use that celebrity image and they're using it, and it's kind of it's fun to see. But when somebody makes an unauthorized use, and that's not welcome.
Right. So that's why you use Unsplash or Wikimedia just so that you're on the safe side.
Yes.
Gaurav is on Facebook, I think, and he says hi.
Hey Gaurav.
I'm just reading out comments that I received earlier. Sonam Sherpa, he was wondering where he met you, Ray, or seen you. Just remember that you were in the same school, Ray, and he's been always inspired by your energy.
Awesome. Hey Sonam.
And also, Robic writes, Galleria CUC, nepalphotography.org, and the photographers there was a big inspiration when I started photography. Thank you all, Swapnil Dai, Prajwal, Square, Gaurav Dos, Haribangsa Uncle, etc. So it was kind of a platform of photographers or upcoming photographers. And it's sad that it's no longer in active. Hopefully, you will think of, or somebody will think of reviving it again. Swapnil muted himself. Just a second. I don't see you actually. Let me try that. Allow participant to unmute. So try and see if you can unmute yourself.
Yes, I do. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, I needed to cough, so I kind of
okay.
Myself, and then I couldn't get back in.
I'll just make you a co-host.
Yeah, I think it was like my it was kind of a platform, a launch pad for so many photographers. So and these are such incredible work they're doing, especially Robic Timre Afne photos. I follow you on Instagram and other places, and the images, the quality has become so good. And it's amazing that we were able to be that stepping stone for so many photographers like you who made it possible. Okay, I got some questions in my private message as well. I can read them out.
All right, sure.
So first of all, you did what you like to do, but later you lost interest. What drove you to decide it's time to switch a job thinking it's not made for you and jump into another thinking it might work? What age you were then? What do you suggest to the young ones? Okay, so I think I kind of didn't make myself clear. I didn't stop doing something because I lost interest, because there were choices that one had to make in their life. I mean, these choices had to be various things, from the viability of taking something forward, or taking the next leap in your career, or things working out for you. So more than kind of jumping, these were circumstances you end up moving from one job to another. But then what I would like to emphasize is, though I have tried various things, everything has been inside the same circle of design. So umbrella banda bahira चाहिँ म गएको छैन जस्तो लाग्छ हैन. So मैले चाहिँ म डिजाइन छोडेर अब म इन्स्योरेन्समा लाग्छु भनेर भन्यो भने चाहिँ that would have been probably a counterproductive decision for myself. So what I kind of am happy is that it's still design, no matter what design I'm doing. So the principally सबै डिजाइनको underlying principle एउटै नै हुन्छ कि basically print गरे नि अथवा वेब गरे नि हैन, त्यहाँ त्यही कलर्स, त्यही proximity, त्यही like things like टाइपोग्राफी को कुराहरु आउँछ जुन चाहिँ एउटा प्रिन्टमा सिकेर वेबमा हेल्पफुल हुन्छ, वेबमा सिकेर प्रिन्टमा हेल्पफुल चाहिँ हुन्छ. And there are a lot of designers who actually constantly make these transitions, because you're not kind of going outside the whole design thing. So it's okay to try out various things. तर settle कहिले गर्ने हो भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ when you think that things are working for you. त्यो चाहिँ अब there's no measurement for us to like how do you consider something if it's working, but if kind of it works for you in terms of you're happy what you're doing, it kind of pays you well, and you see a prospect of it making your career progress better, I think that's a good decision to make. And the latter part of the question is what age I was. I was 20-ish, my early 20-ish. I've done a lot of moving around. I started very, very early. I started when I was still doing my A-levels. My first work was there when I was still doing my A-levels. So that was a long time ago. अनि त्यो भएर चाहिँ I kind of, it was okay for me to even like take a short break and like focus on studies for 2 years 3 years and then come back to it. त्यो पनि गर्न चाहिँ त्यहाँ cushion थियो नि त, because it wouldn't hurt. I mean मैले काम नगरे नि चाहिँ खास त्यति बेला फरक पर्दैन थियो. So त्यही भएर चाहिँ मैले त्यति त्यसलाई compulsively लिएको थिइनँ until I kind of became an age where working was the way to go. अनि त्यो भएपछि चाहिँ मैले चाहिँ खासै I don't think I've left my path and I'm still like in that direction.
Right. I hope the answer kind of covered the questions.
Awesome. So Robik says, do you have the domain nepalphotography.org? Ask Gaurav. Actually, I think he registered the domain. I don't know if we still have it.
Time to regroup again and then figure out, right?
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about your poster designing era. So poster designing के भन्छ Robin, GoDaddy-मा सेलमा देखाउँछ अरे.
Oh God, we gotta buy that.
Yeah, somebody's going to buy it and blackmail, yeah, ransom type. So let's go back to your poster designing days. This thing always pops in is how important is poster design for a movie to not make it successful. Obviously storyहरु सबै हुन्छ हैन, तर I see बाहिर अरु इन्डस्ट्रीहरुमा चाहिँ they spend a lot of money on poster designing हैन. नेपालमा चाहिँ you were like kind of forefront मा थियो when the new wave of movies were coming out, and so were the movie posters हैन. So how important do you think is movie poster for any movie to do?
So this is as important as a cover of a book, you know? So never judge a book by its cover, but I think people do end up, because people end up judging book, that's why that's the saying came that no, don't judge. Yeah. So movie company, it's like cover, the first thing people see even before without seeing the movie is the poster. Poster, let's say, basically gives movie ko overall idea, the theme, what to expect, whether it's a romantic comedy or if it's an action or if it's an horror. So those are the things which were extremely important before we became digital. Digital भएपछि चाहिँ अलिकति scenario change भएको छ. So because trailers पहिला चाहिँ trailers भन्दा हलमै जानु पर्थ्यो नि त, मुभी भन्दा अगाडि मात्रै आउँथ्यो, यसरी युट्युबमा त आउँदैन थियो. त्यही भएर चाहिँ पहिला this was really important. तर as you progress down the decades, यसको utility चाहिँ diminish चाहिँ definitely भएको छ. Now I mean, even at a time when I was starting, and I kind of started out in such a weird phase because things were moving to social media. All the promotions, all the marketing was gradually moving to social media. At a later phase of my movie poster design, there was very little actual poster work to do. A lot of these were basically the social media activation posts. That's because the whole idea of promoting kind of shifted. Paila, it used to be billboards. Government made some rules of not allowing billboards. We stopped doing billboards. Ani pachi posters haru pani batoma चाहिँ paste गर्न पनि it was kind of difficult. One of the criticism in one of the events that I spoke on, I was presenting my movie design work, and then somebody said, "You should be ashamed of yourself. I mean, you're making the city dirty by pasting all these posters." I'm sorry. That's definitely a very valid point, but I mean that's the because it's the theater's decision to do that, and I'm very much not involved in the part of pasting the posters, and kind of that was the kind of direction we went. But eventually, most of it is all digital, so generally movie poster they kind of print posters in hundreds and thousands kuma. पहिला चाहिँ 1 लाख posters थाप्थ्यो भने मैले first movie गर्दाखेरि loot को posters were printed in 2 lakh copies for across the country. And the last film I did was Sunkesari, which posters were about 6,000. So 1 lakh बाट 6,000 मा झरिसकेको थियो के poster को total print गर्ने quantity, because there was so little use of it. But still के भयो भन्दाखेरि design त गर्नु पर्यो नि त, still digitally भयो भने त design त गर्नु पर्यो. So म चाहिँ what I consider is posters changed. अनि मैले मेरो करियरकै बिचमै नै I saw a visual shift in paradigm of going from paper to digital. And अहिले चाहिँ what I see is अब अहिले चाहिँ unfortunately COVID भन्दा अलिकति अगाडिसम्म पनि मुभीको scene kind of was अलिकति diminishing नेपालमा, हैन. So kind of it's sad to see that एकपल्ट एकदमै माथि पुगेको इन्डस्ट्री चाहिँ फेरि बिस्तारै अलिकति ओह्रालो लागेको हो कि भन्ने चाहिँ लागिरहेको थियो, हैन. अनि त्यो हुँदाखेरि चाहिँ अहिले मोस्टली क्रिएटिभ डिसिजन भन्दा नि मार्केटिङ डिसिजन बढी त्यसमा ओभरपावरिङ भएर चाहिँ कम्प्लिटली डिजाइनरको हातमा चाहिँ धेरै चिज नहुने भएको भएर अलिकति क्वालिटीमा प्रब्लम देखिरहेको छु म चाहिँ
लाइक हाम्रो प्रिभियस टकमा पनि दिस वाज शेयरिङ द सेम थिङ लाइक पोस्टर मजाको बनायो एन्ड देन द स्पोन्सरको बोतलदेखि लिएर सबै ह्यान्डमा आइदिन्छ
एक्ज्याक्टली सो चाहिँ यो चाहिँ किन भन्दाखेरि कस्ट अफ running a marketing campaign is just too high, you know? And producers generally tend to kind of outsource that money from elsewhere, from other sources like Roxy and all these things, who are kind of it's like a win-win because producer ko लागि posters छाप्ने मान्छे भेट्यो Roxy वालाहरुलाई चाहिँ they can't openly promote their brand, so they can use film poster as a piggyback. So त्यो गरेर चाहिँ kind of it works. त्यही भएर kind a lot of producers are very like insistent toward using Roxy, but kind of it kind of works for us in a bad way. Okay? So there are two instances where we kind of wanted to play very creatively. There was a kabaddi भन्ने फिल्मको पोस्टरमा चाहिँ what we did was there was Tata को एउटा vehicle को was a brand partner. So rather than having a blunt logo on the poster, we decided to embed that thing inside the poster itself. So अनि अर्को चाहिँ शायद 2 भन्ने फिल्ममा चाहिँ Xiaomi mobile phone ले चाहिँ kind of they endorsed the film. So what we did was we actually got all the actors to take a selfie and we promoted their brand as a part of the poster. I mean, we can't really do this every time because it kind of doesn't work, and also the level of brand awareness or the insistence of having make the logo bigger kind of is always there, right? So sponsors, if they've paid, they definitely want a bigger logo and not a small logo. So त्यो गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ kind of creative हुन खोजे नि उनीहरुले चाहिँ overpower गरिरहेको हुन्छ जहाँ चाहिँ creativity भन्दा like they get the more preference.
Just a quick mention is we are taking questions from both Zoom and Facebook. So if you have any question for Swapnil, do let us know and he'll answer it ekdam candidly. So while are you getting any questions?
Yes, I got one question. Yes. What do you think of a Chakka Panza poster design? The film is still a hit. Does it conclude design is not so important, or the major audience is still okay with old style and you adapt the film is super hit? Yes, actually, yes. This is actually kind of proves our hypothesis wrong. That I mean, as designers, you go out there to make something better, and then at the end of the day, somebody with a minimum like influence on the film kind of takes away the prize of becoming a blockbuster. Definitely, Nepalma. एकदमै ठुलो disparity in terms of audience को preference देखेको छु के. There is us who are like in couple of thousands, and then there are other people who prefer Chakka Panza kind of film who are in lakhs. So it's pretty natural for producers to want to target that group because that kind of gives them more returns, and they already know the people, they already know the actors, they know that it's kind of Deepak Rajgiri and Deepashri Nirola are kind of very familiar faces, and you don't really need posters to promote their film. And we kind of operate in a completely different session because all the films I did were targeted towards like the urban youth and kind of people living in cities. So it's kind of a very different story when you go out in the other places. An interesting part saying specifically we tried एउटा फिल्ममा we tried Englishमा title try गरेको थियो हैन. The problem is a lot of people were not able to read English. Unfortunately, the literacy level of people comes into play, where you need to have titles in Nepali because a lot of people misunderstood a film poster for something else, or thinking it's a Bollywood film. त्यो गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ kind of that whole approach is very different. मैले चाहिँ दुईवटा फिल्म चाहिँ mainstreamish film गरेँ. एउटा चाहिँ राधे भन्ने निखिल उप्रेतीको film, अनि एउटा चाहिँ it was called Love Forever. I don't talk about it much, but it's kind of I mean it's a very different approach of how you want to place the whole image. Mahesh, पोस्टर माथि छुट्टै सेसन चलाउँदा हुन्छ आनन्द
Swapnil,
अरु कमर्सियल एजेन्सी डुइङ पोस्टर फर नेपाली फिल्म्स well that'd be a good idea
है posters एउटा कस्तो नि हुन्छ नि what I see in posters and trailer is you trying to justify the movie पनि नि like movie हेर्न जाओस् भनेर हैन so trailer मा you get let's say 1 minute 30 seconds duration पाउँछ to play with the story posters मा त it's just that one poster that
one
needs
glimpse,
to be
yeah.
right so how what like कसरी how you were pulling it off and also your design process in the whole design sense making like how did you
well, I think the most important thing what I really wanted to make sure is that it kind of looks modern in a sense. It kind of has a certain style of typography and a tone to it which kind of separates it from the ideal Bag Bazaar kind of poster. So that was A. B is a lot of the times, especially in this part of the world or even in Hollywood, known actors get the best top preference on having the biggest face on a poster because the whole idea is a lot of people don't decide that they want to see a film of a certain actor or they want to know that like you actor and I said this is my favorite actor so I want to watch this film whatever. So that's two and third is people are very enticed by the tone overall action feels okay or if it's got a romantic feel त्यो feel ले चाहिँ मान्छेको mood बनाउन चाहिँ त्यसले help गर्छ त्यो भएर चाहिँ I really what I take consideration is making sure that the message is not lost. Unfortunately, sometimes the message has been lost because producers wanted things a certain way. Ani kasto bhanchu bhanda ki ma autopilot mode bhन्छ के. So autopilot mode bhaneko चाहिँ after a point where you are unable to convince people, you just do whatever they say. So I've made those decisions, especially in posters. I mean, IT ma मैले त्यति धेरै गर्न परेको छैन because we have a completely different process of arriving at a design decision. तर फिल्ममा चाहिँ it was a completely different environment where one person is making all these decisions and they basically want things done their way and it's my way or highway. So that reason I think there are limitations. I mean, it kind of demotivates you, but it's there.
So like with any design sorry you're saying
yeah go on.
So like for any design like I was mentioning was you have a big audience to please ni हैन like movie poster le pani it covers a big audience even a simple website pani there's an audience to please so there I'm sure there'll be a lot of criticism coming towards you aba website ma the client is happy hola but again when it goes out to public there might be some feedback Facebook ले नै अब के चेन्ज गरेको त there's so backlash भइरहन्छ हैन so as an individual who designs how do you deal with all those criticism हैन how do you change that into a constructive criticism or do you even ignore
okay so first I'll talk about what I do at Leapfrog and then I'll come to movies right? So criticism चाहिँ किन थोरै हुन्छ भन्दाखेरि we have a specific process that we follow from step 1 to step 6 of whole design process जहाँ चाहिँ requirements हरु पहिला नै they're discussed in depth हैन so we have something called a prototyping where we kind of validate the ideas even before we actually start building our apps or websites and जुन चाहिँ clients customers बाट already validated हुन्छ that they like it and then they take it to their users because हामीले client को लागि design गर्ने हैन that's one of the biggest misconceptions that still exists हाम्रोमा कि client को लागि design गर्ने हैन client को user को लागि अथवा client को client को लागि design गर्ने त्यो कुरा चाहिँ हामी definitely कहिलेकाहीँ बिर्सिन्छौँ हैन so अनि हामीले गरेको design चाहिँ it kind of gets tested out with real people who actually would use it हैन अनि उनीहरुले चाहिँ what they do is they tell you what they do in a real life because technology it's not there to replace something that you're doing but it's just an extension to make your life easier so that's how we take it अनि उनीहरुले चाहिँ जे reality real life मा जे गरिरहेको हुन्छ त्यो चीजलाई चाहिँ enhance गर्नलाई अथवा amplify गर्नलाई अथवा easy बनाउनको लागि चाहिँ हामीले दिएको suggestion अथवा solutionले चाहिँ काम गर्यो कि गरेन भनेर validate हुन्छ अनि त्यसपछि when it's a go and then balla we actually start doing the UI UX part the UI part तर जब त्यो final बनेर पुग्छ client का they already know what to expect and they know के बन्दै छ के बन्ने वाला छ भने they already know so there is this त्यस्तो धेरै criticism चाहिँ आउँदैन अनि पहिला I have dealt with people who just said I don't like it and that's it okay now what do you don't like it हैन सो feedback मा पनि I could go on for feedback session मा पनि so basically feedback दिने भनेको there's a specific way of giving feedback you kind of feedback always needs to be actionable that you say okay I think this is not going to work because of XYZ भनेर चाहिँ जब it's clear I mean it's more easier to take action on that but it's simply कसैले चाहिँ I don't like it I don't like any of it भनेर चाहिँ भन्यो भने चाहिँ kind of it becomes very hard I recall एउटा 2004 तिर एउटा न्यूज साइट बनाएको थिएँ मैले हैन so मैले चाहिँ we launched the website it was up and then the client went like no this is very bad एकदमै नराम्रो डिजाइन भयो भनेर and I was like I mean the design was good it's fine I mean this is something that I've shown them before PhD गर्थ्यो त्यति बेला हामीले sketch figma चलाउने थियो हैन so PhD मा त ठिकै देखेको थियो they were happy now what happened भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ मैले चाहिँ Firefox मा टेस्ट गरेर थिएँ हैन उले चाहिँ Internet Explorer मा लिइरहेको छ के and the whole thing was broken so he didn't know how to express that it was not rendering properly and he just said he doesn't like it and it took me a while to get back to him and to understand what exactly he doesn't like it अनि त्यो भएर चाहिँ जो मान्छेले फिडब्याक दिइराछ जसको लागि चाहिँ काम गरिरहेछ उले पनि त्यो एक लेभलको चाहिँ के भन्छ त्यसलाई नलेज अफ हाउ टु प्रोभाइड फिडब्याक हुनुपर्छ जस्तो लाग्छ त्यो भएन भने चाहिँ बोथ साइड्समा चाहिँ गाह्रो हुन्छ अनि डिजाइन त्यो भएर चाहिँ म अहिले चाहिँ टेक्नोलोजी साइड मेरो इन्टरेक्सन डिजाइनको पार्टमा चाहिँ आइएम कम्प्लिटली कन्फिडेन्ट अबाउट द्याट पार्ट कि त्यस्तो प्रब्लम त्यस्तो मन परेन भन्ने क्रिटिसिजम चाहिँ आउँदैन होइन बिकज इट्स समथिङ द्याट बिकज द लट अफ स्टेक होल्डर्स हु एक्चुली होल्ड रेस्पोन्सिबिलिटी of taking that design to that stage so it's not just my decision to make things look certain way त्यो भएर चाहिँ त्यो हुँदैन तर पोस्टर डिजाइनमा चाहिँ because it's a more open media thing हैन because हामीले बनाएको सफ्टवेयर अथवा एप त एकदम स्पेसिफिक युजर्सहरु युज गर्छ अथवा स्पेसिफिक मार्केटमा अपरेट हुन्छ नि त मुभी पोस्टर चाहिँ it goes out in the wild and so people will have all kinds of feedback अनि एउटा कुरा चाहिँ मैले जब स्टार्ट गरे मान्छेहरुको एउटा प्रिकन्सिभ्ड नोसन के थियो भन्दाखेरि नेपालीहरुले चोर्छ भन्ने थियो के सो anything that looks nice is probably stolen and it was a preconceived mancheko mind ma त्यही थियो हैन and people it took a while for people to kind of comprehend the fact that these were actually homegrown designs made by Nepali designers and they were not stolen from somewhere so त्यो part ma चाहिँ सुरुमा चाहिँ अलिकति रेजिस्टेन्स आथ्यो हैन there were a lot of people who actually trolled I was actually trolled online by somebody saying that I stole the Loot poster design from a Korean film I was pretty surprised because they show me a poster of a film that I've never seen in my life and this I stole from it. So त्यो चाहिँ किन भन्दाखेरि already त्यो यति हार्डवायर भएको फ्याक्ट थियो हैन त्यो भएर चाहिँ kind of it took a while but पछि चाहिँ when 101 posters निस्किन थाल्यो from me and from Ananda and like we had a couple of other designers who just did one or two films. So त्यो भएपछि चाहिँ it's kind of things changed and right now it looks good.
Right. Talking about movie posters, Robbie
says, hello Swapnil, your background looks fantastic, maybe inside a space. Well, actually, I decided to match my background with the t-shirt I'm wearing. So I'm wearing a Star Wars t-shirt. So I got this Darth Vader control panel. Sorry.
Robbie ko orko euta comment is there. Always wondered when Nepali movie posters will be collectible merches and valued like in the West.
Well, I think अहिले चाहिँ दुई चारवटा फिल्मको पोस्टर्सहरु चाहिँ कलेक्ट गर्न मिल्ने खालको छ तर पनि कस्तो छ भन्दाखेरि अब स्टिल भेरी कमर्शियल के एक्चुअली आई मीन द कलेक्टिबल्सहरु जुन उनीहरूले चाहिँ मर्चको रूपमा मान्छेहरुले कलेक्ट गरेर आफ्नो घरको भित्तामा आफ्नो सुत्ने ओछ्यानमाथि झुन्ड्याउने चाहिँ still we're not there because our posters are not they're more commercial flyers than work of art is what I consider. I confess that I myself have made those decisions to make them look like flyers and brochures but I think when kind of we go outside the comfort zone of producers and filmmakers we could probably try that but अहिलेसम्म चाहिँ म त्यस्तोसँग हामीले त्यो लाइनमा चाहिँ त्यति गरेको छैन नै भन्छु.
So again we are taking questions if any let us know while we are waiting for the questions let me drive this conversation towards event planning हैन event planning like you've done Flickr meetup गर्यो Instagram walk Instagram meet पनि गरिसकेको छ like long time back before it was a like big thing हैन And then you've done graphic designers meet, SketchUp meet,
yeah.
so with all those, how do you find the enthusiasm of participants? What are those events supposed to be for you, like a platform for young Kikyo?
Yes, actually, it's a group of people with similar interest and similar thinking coming together. मान्छौँ main कुरा चाहिँ. So पहिला हामीले 2009 मा Flickr meetup गरेदेखि हामीले last year sketch meetup गरुन्जेलसम्ममा यो सबैको एउटा commonality के हो भन्दाखेरि this was an opportunity for people who did similar things or people who were in the same operating in the same space to come together, share knowledge, share their ideas, and to help the community grow. So to intentionally start गरेको, and I think each and every event have proven that. So we I consider it a success that we have actually helped shape a community around photography or design or kind of other kind of events that we've done. But unfortunately, when you are a working person, kind of becomes quite difficult to maintain all the logistics of running an event. There's some impromptu events like the Instagram meetup or the Flickr meetup, where basically just a bunch of people deciding that okay, 3 baje yo ठाउँमा भेट्ने, and that's it, which are easier and impromptu events. But then events like Sketch Meetup or GD, which Abbas, who works with me in Leapfrog, we kind of work. I mean, त्यो अहिले हामीले GD को अर्को एडिसन गर्ने भनेको अहिलेसम्म छेपारोको कथा भएको छ हैन, because I mean there's just so much to plan and the amount of limited time that we have from our daily work to plan these things out, and यसले गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ definitely slow भएको छ. तर पनि जब भएछ इभेन्टहरु, मान्छेहरुको engagement एकदम राम्रो भएको छ हैन. People have been very positive about these events. They've showed up, they've just come, they've discussed things हैन. अनि हामीले लास्ट इभेन्ट गरेको चाहिँ maybe कति भयो, 1.5 वर्ष भयो होला. अनि मैले चाहिँ अहिले चाहिँ आएर के लाग्यो भन्दाखेरि I think it's a good idea to do our own events than become a franchisee of some international के रे कम्पनीको चाहिँ लाइक इभेन्ट गरिदिनु भन्दा चाहिँ आफ्नै इभेन्ट गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ फाइदा होला जस्तो लाग्यो मलाई हैन. किन भन्दाखेरि फर्स्टमा चाहिँ एउटा स्वाग र काइन्ड अफ गुडिज को चाहिँ लोभले गर्दाखेरि a lot of people were excited, but a lot of companies are changed हैन. हामीले ड्रिबल मिटअप गर्यो, स्केच मिटअप गर्यो, अनि बिस्तारै यिनीहरुले चाहिँ when they had a reasonable amount of community built, they actually उनीहरुले आफ्नो हात तान्दियो कि अब के भन्यो भन्दाखेरि अब तिम्रो इभेन्ट आफै गर, आफै अर्गनाइज गर, आफै म्यानेज गर भनेपछि चाहिँ हामीले त्यति धेरै मोटिभेसन भएन. Why would we still want to do somebody else's event at our effort and our money? I'm participant को मनी युज गरेर किन उनीहरुको इभेन्ट गर्ने, त्यो भन्दा हामीले आफ्नै इभेन्ट गर्ने भनेर चाहिँ मलाई अहिले त्यस्तो थट आएको छ हैन. त्यही भएर चाहिँ probably we will not do one of these franchised events anytime soon, but definitely more homegrown events we have in pipeline. There is this next edition of graphic design meetup which has been due for a while, and we really want to do that ASAP.
Right. And with the same events go, like you recently did webinar from the future during the lockdown, you know?
Yeah.
So this was how was the participation? What happened during that session?
So that was our attempt to like give back to the community. But अहिले चाहिँ हाम्रो every time हैन Leapfrogमा hiring एउटा job opening खोल्यो हैन, the biggest problem that we have is नेपालमा enough मान्छे नै भेट्दैन के डिजाइन गर्ने. So डिजाइन गर्ने मान्छे भेट्छ हैन, portfolio आउँछ, and portfolio is so kind of a mix up of things हैन. So UX designer माग्यो भने like somebody who's done logos, 50 logo भएको resume आउँछ. When you ask for a front end developer, you kind of get त्यो किन भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ हामीले enough talentsहरु चाहिँ still बनाउन सकेका छैनौं जति चाहिँ हामीलाई actually अहिले demand छ भनेको जति चाहिँ नभएको भएर what we did was actually I think it's a very good idea to start really young people who are still in their colleges to kind of develop a knack for design, so that they kind of develop this passion of wanting to take this path like we all did. अनि त्यसको बारेमा चाहिँ मान्छेहरुलाई चाहिँ इन्ट्रेस्ट र एन्थुजियाजम जगाउनको लागि चाहिँ kind of it was like we're trying to create a spark. We want the wildfire to happen. I don't know if it's a good metaphor.
No, I like good time.
Yeah, definitely. But what I mean is basically हामी चाहिँ त्यो enthusiasm लाई spark गरिदिन खोजेको. त्यो भएपछि चाहिँ more people would actually want to become designers. So that is त्यसमा हाम्रो vested interest छ हैन. We actually want to make a richer community of awesome designers. अनि still छ, I mean still short supply मा छ, अनि I think हामी still demand meet गरेको छैन. So we need more designers, especially UI UX designers in Nepal.
I've been following your website for quite a while now, you know, and I do read your blogs also, and I think it's one of those like Nepali blogs which actually encourages you to understand the design context of Nepal. And this one you've written an article about why graphic designer or is not actually a UI designer. Or it's kind of an interesting post. I would recommend people to actually go to his website and read blogs, his blog. So it's actually
so mine's a blog ma alikati extra effort. Yeah, I just posted one this morning.
Yes.
So as a biana matra हैन. So it basically talks about
the world.
Yeah. उसको अब कोभिड सकिएपछि चाहिँ we come out in the other side, designers हरु किन इम्पोर्टेन्ट छ भन्ने कुरामा चाहिँ I've kind of shared some argument there. So yeah, मैले चाहिँ generally blog ma चाहिँ kind of try to explore ideas and things that actually directly affect me or something that I want to share with the world, because I mean the graphic design will not get you a UX job came out of frustration of screening hundreds of incredible portfolios. यस्तो राम्रो print design, logo design गरेको मान्छेहरुलाई reject गर्नलाई हैन. It's not something that I want to do, but this is not what we're looking for.
So यस्तो कुरामा, because your drivel is mostly your passion project हरु भनौं न, your यतिकै mock up बनाइराछ. You even did for I think Nepal Airlines ko plane ko pani mock up.
Yes, I did.
So how important it is for designers to experiment आफ्नै हुन्छ नि personal project हरुमा?
It's extremely important because work ma there are certain kinds of things or certain amount of things that you could do in a given time, you know. So work kamma गर्ने design it's bound by the project, what project you're doing, and there are 20 other people who are involved in the project who all need to work together as a team. So त्यो गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ सबै muscles flex गर्न पाउँदैन हैन. And kind of any design scene चाहिँ एकदम छिटो चेन्ज भइरहन्छ. Every year you have a new style, a new way of doing things. अनि त्यसमा चाहिँ अप टु डेट मात्रै गर्नलाई आफ्नो इन्टरनल स्किल्सलाई नै पलिश गर्नको लागि पनि हैन, काम भन्दा बाहिरको लाइक डिजाइनलाई चाहिँ कन्स्टेन्टली गरिरहनु पर्छ जस्तो लाग्छ मलाई. And I personally do it myself, and I encourage everybody in the team at Leapfrog do it. अनि यहाँसम्म कि यति हाम्रो स्ट्रिक्ट छ कि we actually have a spreadsheet to maintain who's posted how many dribble shots in a month. त्यो किन भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ त्यो उनीहरुको चाहिँ क्युरियोसिटी र त्यो प्यासनलाई चाहिँ इन्ट्याक्ट राख्नलाई चाहिँ एक्सट्रिमली इम्पोर्टेन्ट हुने भएको भएर so we kind of do, and myself I do it. So अब every time नयाँ प्रोजेक्ट सोच्न गाह्रो हुन्छ नि त. So you just take something that exists in the real world and you maybe create your interpretation of it. So that's what I did for Tootle. That's what I did for many other brands. Mega Bank logo design हैन. So interestingly, Tootle ko ma चाहिँ Sikshit personally called me, and we kind of had a conversation of how we could use that understanding to build the product. So yeah, alikati kind of त्यसले केही पनि केही impact चाहिँ पारेछ हैन, but I mostly do it to keep myself up to date.
So your question is, who in the industry do you follow and read? Like who do you follow?
Yeah, actually, I have a bunch of people I follow, literally follow on Twitter right now. So that's where I get most of my design information from. Because these guys are really doing awesome work. Like there's Brad Frost, who is an author. I'll just type it in the message. So Brad Frost is somebody I really read. I mean, his blogs. Oh shit! Oh, I'm sorry.
I can share it, or you can do it.
Okay, sure. Yeah. Okay, and then there's Kevin David, who is another author who wrote a book called Everything is Designed, which is a wonderful reading for anybody who wants to learn more about design. Everything is designed. Sorry, that design is spelling million, but still. And then there's another person who is Tobias Van Schneider, who is the SCHNEIDER Schneider, who is the founder of Semplice. त्यो भन्दा पनि उ चाहिँ एक्चुअली थॉट लिडर हो हैन. अनि यो मान्छेहरुको ट्वीट फलो गर्दाखेरि मात्रै पनि के थाहा हुन्छ भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ यसले इन्डस्ट्रीमा के भइराछ, मेन कोर लाइक वर्ल्डको डिजाइनको हब जुन सिलिकन भ्यालीमा छ त्यहाँ चाहिँ के भइराछ, व्हाट इज द लेटेस्ट that's going on भन्ने इन्फर्मेसन अप टु डेट मात्रै हुन्छ. अप टु डेट हुनको लागि इट्स एक्सट्रिमली हेल्पफुल हैन. अनि काइन्ड अफ द इनसाइट्स दैट दे हैव, आई मीन इभन सिम्पल थिंग्स. मैले भर्खर हिजो एउटा के पढिरहेको थिएँ भन्दाखेरि एउटा अथरले चाहिँ रेशियल बायसको बारेमा लेखिरहेको थियो कि सो वाट सी ह्याड टु से इज उसले एक्सपेरिमेन्ट गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ उनीहरूको सोसियल नेटवर्कमा चाहिँ युजरहरूको फोटो हटाइदियो अरे कि उनीहरूले अनि युजरहरूको फोटो हटाएपछि चाहिँ द अमाउन्ट अफ रेसियल स्लर्स एन्ड रेसियल अट्याक डिक्रिज सो मच अरे होइन त्यो चाहिँ उसको एक्सपेरिमेन्टले के देखाइरहेको रहेछ भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ मान्छेहरूले चाहिँ जब डिस्प्ले पिक्चरमा आफ्नो फोटो हाल्ने मान्छेले चाहिँ अब अर्को रेसको मान्छेहरूले चाहिँ बढी अट्याक गर्ने चान्सेस छ भनेर उनीहरू चाहिँ त्यस्तो खालको रिसर्च गरिरहन्छ नि एन्ड दिज आर अल भेरी इम्पोर्टेन्ट थिङ्स द्याट दोज पिपल आर टेलिङ एन्ड आई थिङ्क इट्स इम्पोर्टेन्ट फर अस टु फलो देम सो मैले चाहिँ लिटरली ट्विटरमा फलो नै गर्छु यिनीहरूलाई होइन एन्ड अल्सो उनीहरू चाहिँ न्युजहरू उनीहरूको ब्लगहरू पनि पोस्ट गरेर हुन्छ सो काइन्ड अफ आई मिन मेरो इन्डस्ट्रीमा भएको मान्छेहरू चाहिँ काइन्ड अफ दिस इज वाट आई फलो वेब पोस्ट मुभी पोस्टर्सको लागि चाहिँ देयर इज अ साइट कल impawards.com which kind of is a gallery of all the world's best posters and this is something I kind of keep a tab on मेरो यिनीहरूको चाहिँ वेबसाइटमा kind of it's an incredible directory of posters of the world so
posters go right okay so we are almost nearing our end है लामै कुरा भइरहेछ but if there are any questions do let us know and also stick around for our Zoom after party where we let the mics open video open for anyone who would like to talk directly with Swapnil or just get to know him in person this type so my few of the last question is because the field that you're working is very trendy and everything works as per trend होइन लाइक अहिले चाहिँ त्यो ब्ल्याक डार्क मोड चलिरहेछ म्याकमा डार्क मोड फेसबुकमा डार्क मोड इन्स्टाग्राममा डार्क मोड होइन सो हाउ डु यु किप अप विथ अल दोज ट्रेन्ड्स लाइक टेक्नोलोजी इज सो भास्ट इट किप्स अन चेन्जिङ लाइक तिमीले पिएचपी गर्यो देन आइम श्योर देयर आर अदर ल्याङ्ग्वेजेस द्याट हाउ डु यु किप अप विथ देम एन्ड वाट डु यु थिङ्क इज द नेक्स्ट बिग ट्रेन्ड द्याट्स गोइङ टु ह्यापन एटलिस्ट इन नेपालको इन्डस्ट्रीमा
द्याट टु पार्ट्स टु इट होइन एउटा चाहिँ टेक्नोलोजी नै चेन्ज भयो भने चाहिँ अलिकति वियर्ड हुँदो रहेछ के भयो भन्दाखेरि मैले बिचमा मुभिजहरू गर्दाखेरि 2 वर्ष जति वेबसाइट्सहरू डिजाइन गरेन सो वेन आई केम ब्याक आई वाज कम्प्लिटली लस्ट बिकज पहिला हामी टेबलमा डिजाइन गर्थ्यो होइन सिएसएस युज गर्थ्यो अहिले तल सास आएछ होइन अब लाइक पिपल आर युजिङ प्री प्रोसेसर्स एन्ड देन दिस थिङ कल्ड एङ्गुलर जेएस एन्ड रियाक्ट जेएस अनि लाइक आई वाज कम्प्लिटली लस्ट फर कपाल अफ मन्थ्स बिकज मैले बिचमा 2 वर्ष जति छोडेको होइन ढाङडुङ ल्याएर पुरै इन्डस्ट्री नै चेन्ज भइसक्यो अब त्यस्तो बेलामा चाहिँ द ओन्ली वे फर यु टु गो फरवर्ड इज टु लर्न keep up and learn whatever has changed and I did that actually spent another 6 months kind of keeping up with what's changed
technology
तर कति चीजहरु टेक्नोलोजीमा चाहिँ फ्याडहरु पनि आउँछ के सो फ्याडहरु चाहिँ दे आर शॉर्ट लिव्ड दे काइन्ड अफ कम एन्ड गो अब बीचमा आज भन्दा 6-7 महिना अगाडि एउटा नियोमोर्फिजम भन्ने एउटा फ्याड आएको थियो हैन पिपल एभ्रीबडी वाज डुइङ इट सो बेसिकली स्याडो वाला डिजाइन व्हिच काइन्ड अफ लुक्स लाइक अ स्कियोमोर्फिक अ न्यू स्कियोमोर्फिक डिजाइन सबैजनाले ड्रिबलमा हेरे पनि almost 80% people were doing it. अब come back to it like 3 months later and nobody even talks about it because it came, it came and it went. So you things like these don't stay. So you need to be very careful about picking up a trend because a trend may just be a fad which may not last for long. But then there are core principles which have not changed for the last hundreds of years. You know, हामीले product design को principles हरु सयौं वर्षदेखि त्यही नै छ के I mean like say things like visibility of controls proximity of elements अथवा things like that त्यो चीजहरु चाहिँ these things are not going to change so it's very important to kind of work ground up so that you kind of understand the concepts अनि also tools भनेको चाहिँ जुन माथिको लेयरमा हुने जुन टुल्सहरु छ त्यो चीजहरु चाहिँ kind of it will come and go but once you know the roots it will make you easier to adapt because HTML CSS जान्यो भने हैन bootstrap पनि चलाउन सक्छ tailwind पनि चलाउन सक्छ materialize नि चलाउन सक्छ जे नि चलाउन सक्छ because तिनीहरुको underlying principle HTML एउटै हो नि त so it's kind of one example is why people who are learning to design should not go for like you know batoma web ma paउने frameworks is because it kind of take away the concepts the underlying concepts हरु चाहिँ नबुझिकन माथिबाट डिजाइन गर्न खोज्दाखेरि चाहिँ कति मान्छेहरु चाहिँ कन्फ्युज भइरहेको हुन्छ so one example that I give is when you're learning to cook don't just pick up a matar paneer from a supermarket and just boil it because that's not going to teach you how to cook that curry and you really need to know how much salt to put so instant noodles design गर्ने हो भने after a point of time when you know how it's made it's okay to do it but starting out say I think conceptual level मा काम गर्नुपर्छ rather than following for trends is when you know exactly how to adapt from one trend to another it shouldn't be a problem
एउटा interesting conversation we had long time back when you were at Expressive, I think, and then the next day you were at Leapfrog, is the agile way of working, agile ma ani Google ko ke working तिम्रो project management को कुराहरु गरेका थियौ नि हामीले. So that was pretty interesting on how to manage a project, how to get the work done भन्ने टाइपको.
Okay, I think you specifically mentioning about the Google Go sprint model.
Yes, you were mentioning it.
So basically, Google design, like they created a way of getting an idea from idea to product in 5 days. So that was their process of how to kind of first start with an idea and त्यसपछि do prototype and then test and launch. So त्यो चाहिँ उनीले चाहिँ महिना लाग्ने design process लाई चाहिँ सानो approachable chunks मा टुक्राएर एक हप्तामा चाहिँ एउटा aspect complete गर्ने हिसाबले गरेको थियो हैन. We kind of still follow the same process, but it's not called Google को process अहिले हैन. So basically it's on the corely it's design thinking principle, design thinking के principle भन्छ त्यसलाई हैन. तर त्यो चाहिँ kind of Google specifically आफ्नो तरिकाले गर्यो भएर kind of call a Google sprint. But yeah, we still use sprint model. I mean, kind of other project management tools which kind of helps us do work faster, more efficient, and we really know at the end of the process मा चाहिँ के expect गर्ने भन्ने कुरा चाहिँ हामीले अगाडि नै establish गर्ने भएको भएर चाहिँ kind of it gets much easier to work. And that's something I see a lot of Nepali designers in local companies struggling because they don't have a process in place. So उनीहरूले चाहिँ all over the place बाट start गर्ने पहिले नै सुरुमै होम पेज डिजाइन बाट स्टार्ट गरेपछि kind of get confused and get stuck, bottleneck हुने अनेक हुने हुन्छ. त्यो चाहिँ किन भन्दाखेरि प्रोसेस फलो गर्यो भने चाहिँ the whole thing becomes very seamless भन्ने चाहिँ एक्सपिरियन्सले प्रुभ गरेको भएर we kind of replicate that time and again and every time it's successful. We could do a completely different session for that, but nutshell मा भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ kind of design process really helps.
Okay, I think my internet is little.
Yes,
my internet connection is unstable on right? So I hope you can still hear me.
Yes, we can. Yep, we can.
Can you still hear me, or?
Yes, we do.
You can. So but I think it's time for us to wrap up also, and then we'll continue on our after party. So as a wrap up, how do you like to end it? Like normally cliche of it is for people who'd like to join UI UX business, how do you what do you have to tell them? So let's end with that.
Okay.
Or if you have you can
I think that's important. So as a designer, the designer भएपछि सबैभन्दा इम्पोर्टेन्ट बुझ्नुपर्ने कुरा के रहेछ भन्दाखेरि मैले मेरो एक्सपिरियन्स नै शेयर गर्छु and that actually could be inspiration to some. So के रहेछ भन्दाखेरि डिजाइन गर्ने भन्ने बित्तिकै हामी के सोच्छ भन्दाखेरि टक्क लाएर फिग्मा स्केच फोटोशप व्हाटएभर खोलेर चाहिँ ल अब म टक टक कलर्सहरु हाल्छु बटन हाल्छु अनि त्यसपछि यस्तो हुन्छ यहाँ क्लिक गरेपछि अर्को पेजमा जान्छ भनेर हामी चाहिँ त्यहाँबाट स्टार्ट गर्छौं which is kind of a wrong way to approach the problem रहेछ के. फर्स्टमा चाहिँ हामीले के गर्न खोजेको भन्ने चाहिँ बुझ्नलाई एकदमै इम्पोर्टेन्ट हुँदो रहेछ. किन भन्दाखेरि अहिले इफ यु सी कसैले पनि नेपालमा if they want to start a new e-commerce, it just takes them less than 30 minutes to set up an e-commerce platform and get up and functional, But what they forget is at the core of it, it's not the e-commerce platform that makes an e-commerce company run. It's the product, it's the delivery, it's a bunch of other things, inventory management, user return rate, and things like that actually decide the success or failure of an e-commerce. भनेर हामीले बुझ्न जरुरी छ हैन. किन भन्दाखेरि बनाउनलाई त UI design सजिलो छ. UI design, trust me, is one of the easiest thing in that अघिनको chart Venn diagram that I showed you. UI design is one of the easiest things to learn and master. I think that the difficult parts are understanding what के गर्न चाहिँ के गर्ने हो भन्ने कुरा चाहिँ त्यो understand गर्नलाई चाहिँ a lot of designers spend a whole lot of time researching and understanding these principles, understanding the users, who they are, what they do, उनीहरुले के गर्न पर्छ, उनीहरुले डेली लाइफमा के गर्छ, उनीहरुको डेली लाइफमा मेरो एप अथवा मेरो वेबसाइट कहाँ फिट हुन्छ, त्यो सबै कुराहरु चाहिँ एउटा लामो प्रोसेस रिसर्च भएर आएपछि चाहिँ बल्ल UI डिजाइन गर्ने हो. सो आज बिहान मात्रै पनि I was working on a new project, हैन. सो त्यसमा चाहिँ what we did was we spent about 3 days working on a Google Doc. So 3 दिन लगाएर हामीले एउटा Google Doc तयार गर्यो, हैन, which clearly outlines कि what are we building, what things that we'll have, फर्स्ट स्क्रिनमा के हुन्छ, त्यसपछि के हुन्छ. सो कन्सेप्चुअली हामीले यति धेरै काम गर्यो होइन मलाई बिहान त्यसलाई चाहिँ अनि हाई फिडेलिटी मकअप भनेको एक्चुअली लाइक डिजाइनमा कन्भर्ट गर्न लिटरली 1.5 घन्टा लाग्यो कि सो 1.5 hours I was done. That's because of the 3 days worth of pre-work that I've done kind of really helped me kind of finish my work exactly on spot and kind of with the correctness that was needed. So I really urge designers spend more time outside the design tools like Sketch, Figma, Photoshop, and spend more time in researching, have a concrete plan, and then sit down to work. It's going to be very, very helpful.
Right. So, yep, I hope the conversation was helpful for people listening and watching. Thank you so much, Swapnil, for joining us from your spaceship while you're up out in the space for this session. It was really helpful. I hope people enjoyed. We are still open on Zoom. So Facebook, I'll just end the live session. Thank you everyone on Facebook for joining.